Hey, what up, guys? Welcome to the theme week this month, and obviously, since it's October, we're doing Halloween, so I'm going to be reviewing Halloween 1 and 2. Tomorrow's review, we'll be doing 2 and 3, and so on and so on. And I think, like, part 6, they're doing that in the director's and the producer's cut, and yeah, it equaled out to where every day there was two movies being reviewed that had to do with the Halloween franchise. And I had to start with part 1, which I watched here on 4K, and I've seen this movie probably. This is probably one of my most watched horror movies just growing up because it was always on TV and it was just always on and everybody talked about it, old, young. It's just probably the most popular horror movie of all time. But I'm obviously a huge fan of it. Everyone knows the story, so it's like, Jamie Lee Curtis. It's not figured out till part 2, but she's basically the sister of Michael Myers, and Michael Myers escaped from a mental hospital, and he's killed trying looking for stumbles upon Laurie Strode as it is in the first one, but it's the second one you find out that she's the sister, and there's a reason. But as far as this one, part 1, it's just a random babysitter that he comes across, and killing her and her friends and all that. And that's the mission. And there's Dr. Loomis, who's in all of them pretty much besides part 3 up till part 6. Yeah, so basically that's the movie. It's Dr. Loomis against Michael Myers and Michael Myers against the teenagers and all that. And it's a classic. There's no faults about it. It's a perfect horror movie. Everyone's seen it so many times, so there's nothing really new or original I could say. I think it's a classic, as everyone else does. This 4K disc in particular, I highly recommend it if you have a 4K player. It looks beautiful. The Blu-ray looked beautiful to begin with, but this one, it really looks good on 4K too, so it's definitely worth an upgrade in my opinion. It's just classic all around. John Carpenter obviously directed it, classic. Jamie Lee Curtis, and it just obviously birthed, an icon that, represents Halloween pretty much. And then the second one I watched on Blu-ray from this set right here. I have the deluxe edition, but it's somewhere in my closet. I have stacks of movies everywhere, and I didn't feel like digging it out. And this actually was on a bottom shelf in one of my shelves, so I watched it on this one. And it's a pretty good movie. 1 and 2 actually aren't my favorites of the franchise. I actually like part 6 the best of all of them. I really dig the new one. I obviously love the first one, but part 2 is okay to me. It's not, I don't love it. Like, the setting is cool in the hospital, but I'm not a huge fan of hospital set movies. They're just okay to me. The mask looks a little different. It's wider, so it is a little different to see, but there's some really badass kills in part 2. But essentially it takes place the moment after part 1. Laurie Strode wakes up in a hospital, and basically Michael Myers is out to get her again, and he's killing now nurses and ambulance drivers and stuff in this hospital. And there's a really cool death that involves like this hot tub or whatever that's really badass, and there's like a needle death that's really cool. And but overall it's it has a cool finale, and it was a cool story ender or whatever, because there's different timelines obviously in Halloween now, and it was a cool ender to where they went to part 3. And I'm always interested to see what could have been after part 3 if it was a success, if Michael Myers wasn't the face and they went on to do different Halloween stories. I'm always curious of what could have been, but they obviously came back with part 4 with Michael Myers, which I dig and stuff, but those reviews will come later this week. As far as part 1 or 2, one's a 10 out of 10 classic. Part 2 is like a 7.5 to me. I like part 4 better than part 2. Not part 5, but part 6 is my favorite. I love H2O. Resurrection, I don't really like at all. Rob Zombie's Halloween, I think, is cool. Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, I think the first 2 or 5-10 minutes or whatever when he's killing in the hospital in part 2 of Rob Zombies, I think is some of the best Michael Myers footage ever. And I love the 2018 one, so it's a classic franchise, and 1 and 2 you definitely need to see them obviously to move on with the franchise. So yeah, I'll see y'all next week. Hope you all enjoyed. Peace.